I started this business venture not too long ago. I was employed with Capmeza Hotel doing the landscaping. I was the landscaping supervisor at the resort. I decided to shift the goalpost, so to speak, in terms of what I do, from landscaping into agriculture full-time, because I was trying to see if I can get something else that's a little bit more interesting to me. And I decided to go into mushrooms from there on in. I started by doing a little bit of investigation. I went to the head chef and I asked him, if I go into mushroom, would you purchase my mushroom from me? He said, man, if you go into mushroom, I'll buy everything from you once, as soon as you have it. So I decided that same week, it was like basically a pay week. I blasted all my money on 2 books, 2 mushroom books, and then the journey from switch from landscaping into mushrooms started from there, and it has been there on in. On top of that, I did my own research. I went to the different hotels, I went to locals, I went to the restaurants, I did my basic groundwork in terms of surveillance, in terms of what is required, what they're looking for, the quality they're looking for, and then it just went from there on in. Well, apart from purchasing my 2 books, I did a lot of online reading. I did a lot of YouTubing in terms of getting my experiments right. I getting the knowledge of what they grow on, different mediums, the ins and outs of mycology on the whole. Other than just getting into mycology, you need to understand the ins and outs of it. I spoke to a few gentlemen from out of the States and from Canada in terms of what they use and how they grow the mushroom, and I found it was totally a different aspect when it comes to the Caribbean because of our climate change. Remember, the bigger countries have 4 seasons, and within St. Lucia we just have 2. So with that research, when I got the information I got from those other guys, and I used what I knew head on head, I basically formulated different avenues or different substrate of materials I can use directly from here, and that can be sourced locally, and that actually help with the promotion and the elevation of what I'm doing right now, which is mycology and the growing of mushrooms. In the beginning, when we first started off, I started off with a 10 by 10 small hut. It was no bigger than like a room. And then we were doing everything manually. So we were literally shredding our material manually. We were literally mixing our material manually. And then when the demand for the mushrooms grew, I decided I ran into a situation where I had to find a way that I can increase the output of mushrooms, but also help with the efficiency and the production cycle. So one of the tasks I was laid with was the mixing of the material, the sterilization of the material, and also the chopping of the material. So with the chopping of the material, we went full on, and we purchased a small shredder, which came in very handy because it actually cut down on all the manual labor of chopping the material. With the mixing of the material, we decided, okay, we want to invest some money, and we're going to invest some money probably in a mixer. And then when we did our research, and then we found out, okay, the cost of the mixer, it was kind of expensive. I decided, okay, if it has been invented, I can do something similar but on a smaller scale. And then I bought a small drum, 2 cartwheels, and I fastened my own mixer. The sterilization process is basically like a pressure cooker, normal pressure cooker, but instead of having like a 20 quart or 25 quart, I did a 55-gallon drum, and I turned it into a bigger pressure cooker, and then I went from having 1 sterilization system into having 4. My honest to God advice is to be patient if you do want to get into mycology, because it's not the normal root crop project, or it's not the normal cucumber or tomato or watermelon per se that you can literally plant, having 6 weeks, and then during the course of that 6 weeks you can say, okay, I'll come and have a look and say, you're not ready, and turn my back and go. Mushrooms are totally different. It's an every single day, day-to-day process. Sometimes you have to be on your farm 2 to 3 times for the day, sometimes for the entire day. And when it comes down to the harvesting, you have to have a keen eye for what you're looking for in terms of harvesting, because if you don't, sometimes you might end up losing an entire crop. My advice to anybody coming into mycology, I will advise them that if you do want to come into it, you have to take it one step at a time. Get to know the ins and outs of it before you actually get into it or invest any money into it that you will later on, maybe probably down the line, regret, and then you might say it wasn't worth it. But I like I said, it's just basically getting to know the ins and outs of it. Every single detail from the top to the start to the bottom, substrate, material, spawning, harvesting, every single aspect of it always, it will not be viable to the person. At Funky Fungi, we specialize in a lot of Platypus oysters or the oyster family. So we specialize in oysters, pink oyster, blue oyster, gray oyster, pearl oyster, phoenix oyster, Florida gray, and the list can go on. We also dibble and dabble with a few medical strains like lion's mane, shiitake, chicken of the wood, enoki, and we're up to like 21 strains right now. The mushrooms are in the supermarket. They are island-wide in all massy stores. You can order from us directly from Funky Fungi at 520-5194. Other than that, the mushrooms are a very good source of protein, vitamins, minerals, one that can actually help with digestion problems, Alzheimer's, basic your overall body health.